and welcome to another installment of our online children's moment. For those who don't know me, my name is Pierce Vetters, and I head up the family ministries at the Chicago Temple. It's hard to believe we're already midway through May. We've been staying at home and practicing social distancing for a couple months now. And I don't know about you, but the main thing I am in need of at the moment is a haircut. Now, I'm not brave enough to cut my own hair, or truthfully to have my wife do it. But that may change the longer this gets. Now, if I do end up cutting my own hair or getting my wife Hannah to do it, I promise I will take some pictures or take a video and make sure to show you, because I'm sure it might end up a little funny. So let's hope that it doesn't come to that. How's everyone doing? And parents, that question applies for you as well. We find ourselves in times that are truly unprecedented, where, to be fair, it's quite hard to see an end in sight. And we recognize that even when things open back up, they will probably not go back to normal, or at least the normal we knew prior to this pandemic. Now, as some of you have probably guessed, I am an extrovert, which means I like being with other people and fellowshipping with other people. So I have to say I'm glad that I am married, because at least I have Hannah to talk to during this time. Now, she might be getting sick of my voice, but that's okay. Because of this, I have been thinking, though, a lot about my friends and my family who I miss getting to see. Because I miss having moments shared with other people in person. I miss being at church with all of you and seeing all of your smiling faces. And even some of those silly faces you seem to make as well every Sunday. I miss visiting with my family and going over to friends' houses and spending time together. So when we think about it, this stay-at-home order can feel pretty lonely. So that's why, thankfully, in today's Bible story, we will hear one of the last promises that Jesus made to his disciples and to all believers. And hopefully, it will come as a comfort to all of us in this time of social distancing. Today's passage comes from John, chapter 14, verses 15 to 21. So let's hear what this passage has to say to us today. The passage says this: "If you love me, you will keep my commandments, and I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to be with you forever. This is the Spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive, because it neither sees him nor knows him. You know him because he abides with you, and that he will be in you. I will not leave you orphaned. I am coming to you in a little while. The world will no longer see me, but you will see me, because I live. You also will live. On that day you will know that I am in my Father, and you in me, and I in you. They who have my commandments and keep them are those who love me, and those who love me will be loved by my Father, and I will love them and reveal myself to them." I love this passage. And hearing this promise from Jesus is always reassuring. Jesus starts by saying that he has left us instructions on how to live. And sometimes instructions can be hard to follow. The good news is we weren't left to figure out these instructions on our own. We have the church and its people to help us along the way. But God also sent us a helper, specifically to help each and every one of us as we try and live in the way Jesus taught us to live. We call that helper the Holy Spirit. God was physically present as Jesus in the world. But after Jesus returned to heaven to be with God, God did not want us to be alone. So God sent the Holy Spirit to be God's spiritual presence on earth. It's pretty amazing and very generous for God to help us in this way and walk alongside us. And it is important for us to always remember this promise when we are feeling alone or lonely. So here is my hope for all of us this week. I always like leaving us with something to do. And I was thinking about this topic and thinking about how God works in so many different ways. And I think it is important to remember that when we feel alone, we can always pray that God would fill us with the Holy Spirit to overcome what we are feeling. But I've also noticed that sometimes God uses other people in my life to communicate God's message. And since we are talking about loneliness, I was thinking about who God may be calling me to help, or who God might be calling you to help. So here's what I want you to do. Think of someone to call this week. Someone you maybe haven't talked to in a while, or someone that you are really missing. Take the time to call them and fellowship with each other, even though you can't be together. And maybe, just maybe, you will be an answer to someone's prayer as you reach out to them in this lonely time. So I hope you all take the time this week and find someone to give a call. Now today we're going to be singing a song we sang a couple of weeks ago. It's the song, I've Got the Joy. So hopefully you remember this song and you like to sing along. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the love of Jesus down in my heart. Down in my heart. Down in my heart, I've got the love of Jesus down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. Yes, I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. Thanks for singing with me today. I wanted to give you all something a little different this week to end with. As I was writing today's message, I could not get a song out of my head. And I knew I had to include it into today's message because the song is by my dear friend and colleague Adrian Dunn, who many of you know because he leads the Chicago Temple Gospel Choir. Now, I don't know if you know this, but he recently recorded a live album in the sanctuary of the Chicago Temple. And it is a beautiful album. I want to encourage all of you, if you like this song and want to hear more, you can find his album. It's entitled Redemption. And you can find it on almost any streaming service. And I would encourage you to all go out and give it a listen. The song that came to mind for me is one of the last songs on the album, and it is called You Promised. And the refrain that kept echoing in my head goes like this. It says, you promised to never leave. Right? You promised to never leave me alone. So I wanted to share this song with you in its entirety. So stay tuned after my farewell to hear You Promised by Adrian Dunn featuring LaQuinton Jenkins. And I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Children's Moment. Have a wonderful week, and I'll see you next time.
You promised to never leave, never leave, never leave me alone, alone. You promised to never leave, never leave, to never leave me alone. You promised. You promised. You promised. Never to go away. You promised. You promised. Yeah, you promised. Never to go away. Oh, you said it in your word. I have an anchor in you, oh God. Never to go away. To him who sticks by you when everyone else leaves.